one part-time police officer and myself. I keep saying I'm gonna come back and go for 23, which I very well may do, but right now we're at 22. There's no increase, or there's no cost associated with an additional officer right now.
So that 2013 is based on the 22 officers? Did we,
The
or,
line item 511,
yeah,
yeah, the 1402,589 is based on the 22 full-time police officers, that's correct.
okay,
5 of which are sergeants.
okay. Thank you, that's it?
Ms. Hardy? And I'm sorry, I moved the microphones around, so you may have to grab that one to your right if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
On line 513, which is your foot patrol and parade duty, you mention that in your explanation that this has been kept at a fairly even level because of the mutual aid.
No, ma'am, this one is not, the foot patrol parade duty, that covers our staffing for the Memorial Day Parade, for Celebrate East Lyme, for the light parade. And if you'll notice, if you go to those events, you'll see a lot of different color uniforms there. What I do, and I've been doing for the past 5 years, is I call for mutual aid. And I'll give you an example. We actually reap the benefits of mutual aid much more than it costs us. I sent an officer to Groton for the Groton and London fireworks that we pay for. I sent an officer to New London, actually, excuse me, I sent 2 officers to New London for the Groton and London fireworks that we pay for. I sent an officer to Norwich for their Juneteenth Day celebration, which we pay for. In return, I get, for Celebrate East Lyme, I had 15 mutual aid officers paid for by their respective jurisdictions. And for the light parade, I had 11 mutual aid police officers that are paid for. In addition to that, we've developed a rapport relationship with Amtrak Police for Celebrate East Lyme and for the light parade. They sent 4 officers. 2 of the officers that came down were bomb dogs, so we could sweep the streets at no cost to us. The Connecticut State Police Emergency Services Unit came down with bomb dogs at no cost to us. The Connecticut State Police Fire Marshal's office was with the fire marshal for the fireworks area. Selectmen Siri came from Salem at no cost to us. So we're reaping the benefits much more in a mutual aid arena than it's costing us. So it's a great system that we have, this compact with the surrounding towns. But as far as this foot patrol parade duty, that pays for our officers for these big events. It also pays for our officers. As I was saying, I have 4 nights a week or 3 nights a week in the summer, and then again on busy nights, I have officers assigned to walking beats in downtown in the evening, checking the beaches, being visible, the community policing that I so enjoy, just getting out there and talking to people, and that's what that pays for.
Okay, I'm not questioning the value of the mutual aid. I'm just trying to track where it appears in the
Okay.
line items. So under 513, you state that this money has resulted in a savings in keeping the costs down for overtime. So what I would like to know is what line item does our share of this mutual aid, what line item is that reflected in?
If I send an officer out to mutual aid, it comes out of the overtime line item. Let me clarify that.
Which would be 514.
Which would be 514. So if somebody is going to Groton and London, and I failed to mention that I send 2 officers on the boat for the Groton and London fireworks. So I'm sending 5 down. 1 to Groton, 2 to New London, and 2 on the boat. The 2 officers on the boat comes out of the Marine budget. The 3 officers on boots on the ground come out of the regular overtime budget.
Thank you. And then we don't see reflected in your budget the revenue that is brought in from private duty. In other words, when the electric light company comes in to do something and they need a police officer there. Where is that under the revenue budget, which we don't have yet?
Ma'am, I have never seen a bill that's come in from a private contractor that goes directly to my administrative assistant, who sends it up to finance, if I'm correct.
So
that
that money,
That has nothing to do with this budget or with me.
right, so that money is reflected under the revenue budget, is that correct?
The net amount, yes.
Okay, any profit from that, thank you. And on line 515, which is your grant overtime reimbursement, that appears in the budget. Now, and we approved that money just a couple of weeks ago.
That's 519?
No, I'm sorry, it's 515, I think.
515 is a boat
Overtime boat?
duty.
Well, let's see, grant overtime reimbursement, 59,500, what is that?
519.
519,
Yep.
thank you. Okay,
That's our share. Excuse me, that's the money that was given to us, a grant award by the state DOT. So
for
that
the DUI.
For the DUI grant. That entire portion goes in there, and then the revenue from the state portion goes back in there. Am I correct?
The revenue we receive from the state
The revenue that we've received from the state
goes into revenue.
goes into revenue.
So the 59,950 is a wash.
It's not, like I said, it's 30 cents on the dollar. We're
Okay.
paying 30 cents on the dollar.
All right,
And it's 59 the total, or is 70-something the total?
Typically, the total grant is approximately the 59,000. What I did is I took a 3-year average to come up with the amount to put in next year's projected budget.
Okay.
Okay, I will point out that on the call that you approved this evening, it includes the grant for this year. So to the point on that, if we put it in the budget already, we won't have to have it go through the appropriations process next year.
thank you. You answered the next question. Good anticipation. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I have.
Thank you, Ms. Hardy. Mr. Siri?
I'm good.
Good, okay.
I have one other question. Where would the cost associated for the fuel, vehicle maintenance, that sort of thing be?
That's with the superintendent of public works, the.
So
fleet-
it's wrapped into that
Yes,
that
ma'am, the
Public
fleet
Works
manager.
budget? Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything further for the sergeant?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and Jimmy, while you're here, you're representing everybody, doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Park and Recreation? I know you wanted to go last, but we'll bring in the order, it's on the agenda.
You can move me around if you want.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody knows Dave, I'd like to thank you and your department for all the hard work that you do.
Great,
Effort
thank
you
you.
put to the town. Really
Great.
doing a good job.
Thank you. What I just passed out is just a little bit of a thing that we had started this year, just kind of a year in review for Parks and Recreation and Youth Services, and just give you a little bit of a synopsis of what we've done in the last calendar year. Just to touch on some highlights and some new initiatives. As far as Youth Services, we do have a juvenile review board now. We have seen approximately 10 cases and reviewed those. Those are a diversion program from the juvenile court system. I want to thank Sergeant Blanchette and the East Line Police Department for for being on board with that and referring cases to us. The other thing is, as far as Park and Rec is concerned, we do take passports now, applications in our office, and that's turned out to be a very good service that we're able to provide for the community, and it's worked out really well for us. I just want to say I have a tremendous staff that works for me, and part of that is I want to publicly thank Ed Ball, who's our park supervisor, and, excuse me, our park foreman, And our turf specialist, he was just recently awarded the New England Sports Turf Manager of the Year. He'll be awarded on Wednesday, March 5th in Providence at their conference. So I just wanted to thank him and just let you know that our staff does a tremendous job, and that's just one individual that's being recognized in all of New England for the work that he does for the community. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So other than that, up for questions, or if you want me to proceed line by line, I do know, wanted to bring to your attention that there is a pretty significant increase in my part-time seasonal labor line, and that is with the anticipation that we would propose to staff the new beach at Cheney Park, or the Nyack Bay Beach, on a daily basis. And last year we did that on a weekend basis, and it was very well received. That beach is a great asset to the community, and we think it should be staffed on a daily basis. With that being said, I did project a pretty significant increase in our revenues to cover the cost of that. So, and that'll open it up to any questions that you have. Just, that is a
Sure, if the $90,000 increase is reflected in the increased staffing for the beach.
90,000?
Well, it was, in 2013, it was 137. Now it's 227.
Right. I think we're gonna be more along that line. The part-time seasonal labor, trying to think why that was such a big increase from year to year. But that is, the increase for that is gonna be about $35,000 to staff that. And I'll have to go back and look at why we had that, such a big increase in that part-time seasonal labor line. I can't remember
Is
that.
there an effect that the increased minimum wage?
That
will
is
have?
reflected in this, correct? That's a
Most of
pretty big
those,
hit.
most of those part-time seasonal or minimum wage, college students, lifeguards, maintenance workers, those kind of things.
Right, if they're not at minimum wage, everybody gets adjusted because of that increase in the
Yeah.
minimum wage, yeah.
We sure that 137.55 is the correct number?
I would have to look at that.
You sure it wasn't much more than that, and it's
Yeah.
not that far off from the 190? I don't know, it just seems way off.
Right,
But either that, or we're missing something.
right.
I'm
No,
not sure what that might be.
I'd have to go back and look at that. I'm not sure why that discrepancy's there.
Further comments, Ms. Hardy? While you have the floor?
No, I'll pass at this time.
Okay. Mr. Siri?
Dave, I know last summer, there were a lot of activities at the high school field during the summer. Is there an estimate that shows how much revenue you anticipate making from that venture, or is that a revenue generator at all?
That, during the summer months?
Yes.
During the summer months, we didn't have any private groups using the turf field. It was basically soccer club, lacrosse club that I scheduled.
Okay,
So any revenue that was derived would be a question for the high school. Because
Okay.
I schedule it during the summer.
No, that's what I was talking about during summer, because I know
Right.
Phil Schneider ran the program for girls
Lacrosse, and that
lacrosse.
was through us.
Right,
Right, so we sponsored that, Park and Rec sponsored that, so there wasn't any payment to the revenue for the use of the field for that, because it was a town-sponsored activity.
okay. All right, that's the question I had. Also, one other question, Dave. If you're going to staff Cheney Park, or the board, or the beach down there on a daily basis, would the intent be to charge? Because I know people didn't get charged if they came in on a daily basis during the week.
Yeah, our proposal and the increase in the revenue, that we want to, at all three locations that people enter our parks, at McCook, Hole in the Wall, and Cheney Park, that we sell point-of-sale passes.
Okay.
So the day pass sale right now is, for a resident, is $5, for a non-resident is $20. If they had a season pass, obviously, they would be allowed in. And our season passes did go up a minimal $5 this year. So it was the first time the senior pass had been raised since 2002. That's gone from $10 to $15, and the resident rate has gone from $30 to $35. And that was last done in 2006.
And both of those, Dave, are for unlimited use,
Cor-
any of the three parks
Correct.
for the entire season.
From Labor Day. yeah,
15 for seniors and 35 for residents. And the non-residents is
is 100. It went up $10 this year.
Okay. Thank you.
I have an additional question. if
Ms. Hardy?
No one at
No?
the other end
Why
does.
don't you go and we'll work our way down.
Under the beach grooming services, you show that as a 0% change, and I don't think we've discussed this before with the rentals to the beach associations. Do they pay just for the operator,
No.
or do they pay a certain percentage of the depreciation of the equipment?
Right, correct. They pay not just for the operator, they pay for the, right, for the equipment. So, that $4,000, I would say probably 75% of that is for the equipment, and the other 25% goes to the operator.
And is this a daily service that's
It-
performed?
Usually not. Usually we do, like the Nyack Bay Yacht Club, we'll do 6, 7 times a year. We'll do, we did Black Point before, that was twice a week. Crescent Beach, we'll do 3 times a year. Giants Neck Heights has us in once a year. So it's kind of scattered on how they want us to do it.
Thank you.
That seems to be a win for both the town, as we're generating revenue on a piece of equipment, I think, and also for the beach associations who had some difficulty finding somebody at the rate that we were able to provide, so.
Absolutely, yeah, the first groomer, we have 2 groomers now. The first groomer cost us $30,000. We've probably paid for that now with the rentals of that. So that unit's paid for itself, and it's been a great service for not only us, but like you said, for the other associations.
And under account 350, you mentioned daily and seasonal maintenance, small athletic field renovations. What would be considered the small fields?
Deep tine aeration, sod work, infield material. We have a laser grader come in and laser grade our infields on an annual basis. So those contractual things that we don't have the equipment for, that we'll contract out for those.
My question was, which of the fields are considered to be small athletic fields? So that we would know which ones are going to be done.
I think when I say small, I meant small in, we're doing small work with like the
Oh,
renovation too. There's
okay.
not any difference in the size of the athletic
Small
field.
renovations,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
small
Okay.
Yeah, we're not
fields.
doing a whole renovation of the whole field. We're
I
doing
was
a,
interpreting it as
Yeah.
a difference between the larger fields and small
No,
ones.
no.
Okay, what's the difference?
yeah, no, they're,
The T-ball field.
yeah. Yeah.
All set, Mrs. Hardy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry if you said so, I didn't hear you,
I
apologize.
didn't.
Mr. Wilson?
Sure. The one thing that jumps out at me, Dave, is under the director, 105,829 to 137,542 to 95,3117.
Right.
So what changed? I'm looking at Mike McDowell.
Yep. Mike is now
Mike
the-
now has a full-time job?
He is now our program director for youth services. So he was a part-time
He was,
person in there.
yeah,
as
so
our
now he has benefits and all of that?
Correct. That is correct. We've had a change in our staffing. And we've also taken out of there, we were sharing an office position at Public Works for a while, and that was in that line item. And that's now been taken out of that and put into the Public Works budget.
So for first-year guy went to 48,306?
What's that, excuse me?
First-year guy went to 48,000? Is he a union member?
He is a union member, correct.
Wow.
Took Sarah's job.
Yeah,
That's,
Sarah left.
okay.
I don't think he's getting as much as she did, is he?
No, not yet. What I'm proposing to do is that is right now being paid at an administrative assistant position that really is a program or coordinator's position. So I want to make that adjustment. That's like a $4,000 increase.
So what
In that.
position are we talking about here?
This
We're
was our
talking about
youth
the
services.
program
Yeah.
coordinator under 311.
Okay,
You see that?
yeah.
Yeah, because that didn't exist before.
That was being paid at an administrative assistant rate. To me, that should be, those specific duties are a program coordinator's duties. And it should be adjusted that way. That's why I've adjusted that.
What was Sarah making in that position?
Sarah's making about 40.
Okay.
So with the increase, I'd have to go back and look. It was between 40 and 42. So we're in that. And then with the union increase, I think it's 2.5% or whatever. That is the entry, that 48,000 is the entry level for a program coordinator position by union contract. That makes sense?
All right, so that also came out because you also were taking that on as director this past year, correct? Is that how that was working at the 137?
The 137 for the director's salary had $20,000 in it for the halftime position,
Okay.
which was Mike.
Because it's weird, because it's hard to figure out what was coming out of the 137.
Right. So that
I don't know how
137,
it was
right.
split up now. It's been a year, so I
Yeah.
haven't been able to figure that out.
So there were 3 positions in that 137. There was my position, there was the special events coordinator's position.
And that was
then
him.
Yeah, and then the shared position with Public Works. So now we're only in that, now there's only me in that director's line item.
Okay, so your director that's you.
That's me, for
Okay.
doing both,
And-
right.
and-
All right, so that's, thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Okay. What else did I think? Under the, with the new field, how is that working with the new field? Do we have any responsibility for the maintenance of I know you're scheduling it,
Right, but
but
we don't have any.
we're not dealing with it.
No, not
Okay.
on a maintenance standpoint. It's nice, we schedule it from when school gets out until school gets back in.
Okay.
So it allows all those rec activities to get up there and use that.
Do we pay for the lights come out of you?
We do, yes.
Okay.
If they use the lights, there is a lighting fee, just
Well,
like.
every night that the lights are on, the people can walk is coming out of your budget?
No, not, only if the group is using the lights. Let's say lacrosse goes from 8 to 10.
So the 2 sets of lights that are on just for people to walk are
That
coming
might-
out of what?
Board of Ed, I
Board of Ed.
believe. It's not coming out of my budget.
Or the lighting god budget?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But if lacrosse uses it from 8 to 10, they're charged a
For the-
light.
for the lighting fee.
Right, correct.
Because they have them all on?
Yep.
Okay. That'd be just a question. I wonder how that works with who's actually paying for those lights on a full-time basis. Thank you very much.
All you, Chief.
Yeah, well, I had a question about line 211, but I think you've answered it in explaining where the difference was. And you say you would be scheduling anything over the summer on the turf field.
Correct.
I know when this was first discussed, and this is a rhetorical question, really, there was some information to the extent that there were other, like semi-pro football leagues, people who might want to use that field during the summer that would provide a revenue source for the town. Have you seen any interest apart from the youth leagues and things that have ordinarily used it?
Not during the summer, but I know they've had 2 lacrosse tournaments that have come in as fundraisers. Not fundraisers, that they've charged for field
Mhm.
usage for. So, but I haven't seen that as far as summer usage is concerned. So
That went to Board of
that went
Education.
to- yes, correct.
Right. But as I said, this was, presented as a possible revenue source for the town because we did have this amazing field and there had been interest, that they'd been approached before for
Right.
something like that. Okay, as I
That's a
say,
question, but
it's
I know definitely 2 lacrosse
Okay,
tournaments
thank
have
you.
been held up there, but other than that, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me.
Kevin, did you have anything?
No, I was all set.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thanks, Dave.
And again, great job. Chief? Niantic Fire Department?
217.
Thank you. Again, we have both chiefs here and a number of people from the departments, and I want to thank you all publicly for what you do and how hard you work and the dedication that you put in. specifically the chiefs for their leadership in each respective departments. John, do you want to go over any of the highlights that you can think of, or?
Most of the budget, we were pretty fortunate to stay the same. One of the increases we had was on our radio maintenance account. We increased that to obtain some portable radio batteries for the various portables on the apparatus. Other than that, the couple capital items we put in for turnout gear and fire hose.
Okay. All right, you just have the overtime increase.
The overtime was increased. We asked to increase that back up by $5,000. It was taken away from the in last year's budget. As you're well aware, it's a number we can't guarantee. It depends what happens throughout the given year with fires and storms or floods or whatever. I wasn't comfortable leaving it at 57. That's why we asked for the increase back again. So far, we're tracking pretty good, but that number could be shot at any given moment.
Mr. Wilson?
John, the vehicle maintenance, 17,528 on 220, and you're back at 13, so
17,528.
was that something that was an anomaly and you dealt with it, or you're back to, I mean, this is like an overtime thing. I mean, it's the exact same issue if you ask me. I mean, you look at, you don't know, but you spent considerably more.
Right, that $17,000 was the year that we put in for a lot of tires for the apparatus. I think we put in for 6 or 8 sets of tires, which we never do. And that's what upped that number to 17,000. The 13,000 we're pretty comfortable with
Okay.
as far as maintenance goes.
I mean, we're really talking $10,000 here. The difference in your budget.
Yeah, we didn't,
It's not crazy, so I'm fine.
we try to keep it, live within our means.
The pager batteries are the things that went up, or handheld radio batteries.
Yes.
And then, it appears to me it's all maintaining. Is that what you're coming through with? I mean, I see everything pretty much, being consistent with what you've done in the past.
Yes.
Now, I'm gonna ask this question again. Is the propane you're buying the same contract that the town's buying
Yes.
it for?
Yes.
It's all the same, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Chief, well, you have something?
Oh, go ahead.
2 items, when you came to me, number 223 and 243, I reduced back. 223, you had 2 sets of fire gear that went, you had 6628, I reduced it to the number of 5,500, and that's what the Board of Selectmen is looking at. And 243, I reduced the training from 7,000 to 5,500. So I want to make sure that there's no hardship on either
No,
of those, I thought.
The 243 on the training and fire prevention, we asked for the increase on that so we could to participate in a computer program where the firefighters could get their basic OSHA training throughout the year.